Welcome to Back Issues. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Ben.
We're almost to 300 episodes, so we're doing another Ultimate Spider-Man book.
Yay!
This one's Ultimate 6. It is what they would probably have done, or at least should have probably done, with the next Spider-Man movies.
Oh.
But now
Well, that's all we have time for, because now
Yes.
Sal made us sad.
I made myself sad. But now it's over, so we can just enjoy this cool comic that exists in the Ultimate Universe. Ultimate Spider-Man, younger Peter, everything's different, but it's also exactly what you remember. So that's the context. If you want more, check out the previous episodes of Ultimate Spider-Man that we've done on this channel, which you can find. Here's the last one.
Hey, in the previous Ultimates, was his identity outed?
No.
Okay.
No.
No.
It isn't until like the end of this series, practically.
Okay.
So, thankfully. Although, in this story, you might as well have just done that. Because I can't imagine how it didn't happen, as you'll notice when we go through this. This is written by Brian Michael Bendis, as per usual. There's a little bit of art by Mark Bagley, but for the most part, the entire series is done by Trevor Hairsine.
Hey, and we're getting the Ultimates in there. Sweet.
Yeah, it's
Is it a crossover?
Yeah, more or less, it's a crossover. I mean, it's practically an Ultimates book, but featuring more interesting villains than the Ultimates normally face. Ultimate 6 opens up as a kind of like flashback to the Doc Ock story that we did, where Spider-Man first fought Doc Ock, where he needed an audience to present that Justin Hammer is a douche in this universe, and in actually the real universe, Justin Hammer's an old guy and not played by like a charismatic 30-something Sam Rockwell, which is really to everyone's detriment. But in any case, Doc Ock gets his brain scrambled, so he thinks that like he needs to kill Justin Hammer, which of course he does, but actually he's like a sleeper agent who's working for different companies, and there's a whole thing with like espionage because, you know, he's a toolbox. And Spider-Man fights him. They're at Justin Hammer's facility when that happens, and he fights Spider-Man, and Spider-Man kicks his ass. Then Kraven the Hunter shows up, and you know, he's just a reality TV star.
Yep.
So Spider-Man just like backhands him, and he's completely knocked out, and everyone's just like, "Lol, Kraven, you suck." No! Yeah, he doesn't even get to react. He's just completely asleep. And then we see what happens after that. And what happens after that is that the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent on the scene, Sharon Carter, is giving her kind of like report about what's happening. And so they go into Hammer's facility, where they find out that Hammer, amongst every company in the Ultimate Marvel Universe, is developing unlicensed, unregistered, superpowered beings. Illegal.
It's like, why wouldn't we be? That's the next fad.
Well, it's actually the next war that will be fought. Nick Fury says this at least 4 times in this book, if not 100 times throughout the series, where the next war will be a genetic war.
Right.
And so the weapons we need are genetic weapons, so everyone's engineering the next Captain America.
Oh, we're not just like grabbing mutants and just throwing them.
That's the plan, but you know.
But we also need to make them.
Exactly.
Not just find them.
And make sure that they like work for us.
Right.
Illegal, unnatural genetic mutations, but not mutants. And they're like, we need to distinguish between mutants and those who alter their genetic structure after the fact.
Right.
How is that any different?
Because mutants are born with it.
Yeah.
And maybe it's Maybelline.
Maybelline.
So they alter their own genetic structures, and that is illegal.
Right.
That basically Nick Fury kind of strong arms the president into passing legislation that's not in the book, but they reference
but it had happened previously.
That basically it's illegal to alter your genetic structure.
Right.
Like, it's fine if you are a mutant.
Yes.
You just can't become a mutant.
Right.
Right.
Well, and even then, you wouldn't be. You'd be a mutate in the regular universe. In this universe, you'd be an illegal, unnatural genetic mutation. In the context of Ultimate Spider-Man / Ultimate 6 at this point, there's a difference. That there's mutants, and then there's the genetic mutations, and it's okay to be born with it because that's not your fault, and the other one is like wrong because you're altering your genetic structure, and we've kind of got the patent on that.
Right. Right.
Also,
it's too dangerous.
The U.S. government is also tasking companies within the U.S.
To do this. Yeah.
Like quietly. So like Hammer Industries and also Osborne Industries, Oscorp.
So S.H.I.E.L.D. finds out about us, and they're like, the government's behind this? I thought we were the government.
Oh, I assume S.H.I.E.L.D.'s involved.
S.H.I.E.L.D.'s
in it.
involved.
Yeah.
No, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s job is to put a lid on any unnaturally legal genetic mutations.
So that people don't find out that the government's involved.
Yes, and then
I thought it
because
was like, stop it.
They're
yeah,
like protecting
and
this program.
as part of the legislation that was passed, if you do alter your genetic structure, not unlike if you're, like, let's say, selling action figures and you want to save 6% on the tariffs on those, you're not technically a human. You're something else.
So we don't have to abide by any civil rights or anything like
That's
that.
right.
Right. Those
So-
apply to humans.
And you're not a human. You're an illegal, unnatural genetic mutation.
Right.
But I'm still
And
American.
you asked, nope, not
No,
anymore.
only humans can be Americans.
Yeah, a chair can't be American.
A dog can't be an American.
Yeah.
That's not true because you can license a dog. so this goes on, and it's just it's a flashback / retcon, but it's not
Yeah.
no complaints.
And
but
given some backstory to it's world building.
exactly,
Yeah.
and it's also, well, we need to get the Sinister Six in here, and Sandman is a member of the Sinister Six, but this is the Ultimate Universe, and we haven't invented Sandman yet, so, like, here's Sandman now. So when Sharon Carter goes into Hammer Industries, they find Sandman, and he's like
Oh.
under glass, and like there's all these like lab technicians who are just like watching the craziness of Doc Ock on the news, and they miss the fact that like S.H.I.E.L.D. stormed the building, and then they find this guy, and he's like Sandy and sitting there, and Sharon's just like, let him out.
Right.
So they do, and then he immediately attacks her,
Yeah.
and escapes, and then they look at his file, and it's like, this guy is a bad person who's committed a lot of crimes, and that's kind of why we have him in the first place.
And
So-
Sharon's like,
So then Sandman escapes, and then Spider-Man, who, of course, if you remember your Ultimate Spider-Mans, which we did, I think, 2 years ago, so probably not, when Spider-Man fought Doc Ock and Kraven, it was like late, but not so late that it didn't make the nightly news.
Right.
But when Peter comes home, it's really late, and he's grounded for that. How did he get so late? Now, we chalked it up to him being in Jersey and having to get to Queens, but actually, it's because we're retconning into the Doc Ock fight that he also fought Sandman.
Wow.
So Spider-Man fights
Okay.
Sandman, and he beats him.
no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, he did though. He just never mentioned it
Yeah,
before.
and so here it is. And so he does. He helps the firemen who are there. Like he and the firemen like spray him with water. And then ultimately, Sandman reveals that he's like super powerful because he's basically just a human who's made of sand. So
Right.
it's like, how can you kill sand? I'm just wet sand now.
Yeah.
So he's gonna kill everybody. And then one of the scientists who is being arrested grabs a device that they have just for this particular situation because of course they made him in the first place,
Right.
and it neutralizes Sandman, and they're like, how long will that have him out for? And he's like, 10 minutes. You better get him into jars.
What was it? It was a giant plastic sand cup castle.
Yeah.
We just molded him.
just funk.
So now Sandman is a villain who can have a grudge against Spider-Man and be on the Ultimate Six.
You know, it'd be fantastic if it was like a sonic weapon.
It is kind of.
Because like it should disrupt his ability to like create structures.
Yeah.
Like
It looks like that. It's just
It's a green
waves.
beam thing. Yeah, it's really unclear what's happening, and they don't describe it at all.
And they don't need to.
And they don't need to. It doesn't matter
Because I don't care.
It's the anti-Sandman weapon. This Sandman is interesting. I don't know if regular Sandman does this. He leaves behind sand like everywhere.
Yeah.
So he must be actually producing sand, or he's getting smaller all the time.
Right. I like the idea that he makes sand.
Yeah.
Because he is sand.
well,
You know, it's
he
not like
gets bigger at times.
it's not like he's like a ghost, and when he comes near sand, he then absorbs it and constitutes his own body.
Right. Well, he's made of sand, but he also like makes new sand.
Yes.
From
And
something.
that works because, like, what about Hydro Man? You know, he makes water. He is water.
Right.
Well, what about any villain that produces any number of things?
See, I always thought it was just like Sandman is like someone's body being converted into sand.
and that's it. That's
and
what
that's
it
all
is.
you get. You don't get to have more than that.
You do get to have more
if
than
someone
that
cuts
if there's
off your
more sand.
leg,
If there's more sand around.
Yeah, like Sandman
Like,
has definitely like gone to a beach
What
and
classi-
become like a big monster.
What classifies as sand?
Right.
Does it have to be sand? Could it be gravel?
Right? Could it be rocks? Could Sandman just like go to a mountain and become a mountain? And it's like we've never really plumbed the depths of Sandman's potential because Sandman is a moron, and that's like legitimately.
and he never thought to like
He never thought to
become
do
rocks.
that. Exactly. Like,
He's
what
like,
if?
I'm sand?
Now he did, however, merge with Hydro Man one time and became Mud Man, but really it was just two guys who were just writhing inside of each other.
Well, it doesn't
But-
work. You're like, all right. You swing your arm, and I'll swing my arm
Right,
at the same time.
yeah,
what are they,
Kinda like miss, and
Voltron?
you're like, oh no, hang on.
Stupid.
Moving
That's
on.
Moving
yeah.
on from Sandman. There was no time for us to put Sandman in here yet, and it was more convenient to have Sandman be a product of Hammer's secret government contracts.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's what this whole book's about. The whole book is about Nick Fury and his negligence and desperation to produce another Captain America.
It just seems like the reason that they wanted to say it's like, oh, it's the Sinister Six is because they only become the Sinister Six after Spider-Man has already fought them all individually, and then they team up.
Why would one of them, I guess that'd be cool if, like, one member of the Sinister Six is like, okay, I'm in. And they're like, great, we're going to get revenge on Spider-Man. He's like, I don't know that guy.
Yeah.
Like, what if Magneto was a member of the Sinister Six? Like, that wouldn't make any sense. It'd just be kind of boring. Plus, it's not satisfying for the reader. The reason why the Sinister Six works is because they're all of Spider-Man's villains, and Spider-Man has arguably one of the best out of, like, 3 rogues galleries for superheroes. So, like, it actually makes sense to put all of Spider-Man's villains together, just that we needed to establish Sandman. I don't know why we needed Sandman. It's not like at the end the big Doomsday device is powered by sand. Like
He's not like the linchpin.
There was no reason to have Sandman other than I think we really only have 4 Spider-Man villains, and the other one is a fat guy who has no powers, and also he's out of the country because it's Kingpin.
Yeah.
Right.
So, like, we just don't have enough. So
we gotta pick somebody else.
And also, Sandman, like, who's gonna complain that we didn't give Sandman his due? Also,
Right.
who's gonna
That's my
argue?
point.
Who's gonna argue besides Ben that, like, we didn't give Sandman his due? We just did. He's a man. He's made of sand. He fought Spider-Man. The end. We just established Sandman.
Yep.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I like it. I hear that. I understand.
It seems
you
weird
think
because
it's
it was
lazy.
skipped before.
It was
It's
totally
like, why
skipped,
would it have
but
been
I
skipped?
like it
Well,
because
it was skipped
then
because it was never the plan, and they're like, oh, it happened between.
yeah. Well,
Yeah, or it was, and they
unless-
just didn't
it's
want to
hand-wavy
tip their
bullshit.
hand.
Unless it's drawn by Bagley because it was just an issue that was too long and they had to cut out the scene, and Bendis is like, oh, cool. But I don't think that's what happened. The last villain to be put into jail, we're going to follow them along their journey so we can get to the super prison they're in, is Electro, who, of course, was a enforcer for Kingpin. Spider-Man beat him by, again, throwing water on him.
Yeah.
And so Electro is, like, put in a hospital because he was basically in a coma. And when he wakes up, he just kills everyone in the room and then leaves. Because Electro's a friggin' douche. Like, just a straight-up bad guy.
Yeah.
And I love how he's portrayed because he's just such a shit. Like, he's a jerk. He's abrasive. He's a creep. Like, at one point, he's in jail, and Sharon Carter comes by, and he's like, hey, I haven't seen a chick in a long time, and I'm never going to see one. Take your top off. And she's like, okay. And he starts unbuttoning her shirt, and and she's like, psych, what's wrong with you? And he's like, I really thought she was going to do it. And you're like, what? So anyway.
But I love the fact that he just kills everybody.
Yeah, he just
He's
kills
like,
everyone in the room.
all in my way.
Did they
Right.
not take any precautions?
No.
Oh.
Well, they did, but they didn't plan on him killing everyone. I guess because he was
Right.
in a coma or something.
Oh, yeah.
Point being, he escapes, and then the Ultimates show up, which is to say the Avengers, Cap, Iron Man, Black
Yep.
Widow, and they're like, that's enough.
Yeah.
And I love it because in this book, they are deployed when you come up with illegal and natural genetic mutations. Like, they are Nick Fury's kind of like, jackbooted squad
Right.
that covers up his messes.
Yep.
Because every time they encounter somebody, they're like, would you mind explaining to us how you acquired your powers? Hopefully you were born with them, because otherwise you're going to jail. So then we...
And not just any.
Oh, yeah, I was born with them.
Okay, well, we're going to have to check your story. So...
Oh, no, he said he was born with them, guys. He's free to go.
See, if I were the victim of or the perpetrator of an illegal, unnatural genetic mutation, the first thing I would do is my uniform would have a big X on it. That way nobody would ask any questions. They'd be like, oh, you're a mutant? Totally. Oh, well, I'm going to throw some bullshit racism at you. Fine.
That's
Beats super jail. But Spider-Man's not on the list because Nick Fury says so.
But
Interesting.
he is one of those.
He is, but
But he didn't make himself into it.
Exactly.
So it's still not his fault. It's
No.
as not his fault as
being a mutant.
Being a mutant.
That
So-
being said, some people who have had to them by accident, they're also usually put into protective custody by S.H.I.E.L.D., but then
Yeah.
usually released.
But usually it's because they're doing illegal stuff.
Yeah, well, normally
Yeah.
it's because, like, an evil corporation brought this, like, criminal because no one would ask where they were, and then once you
Right.
imbued them with powers, they were a criminal with them.
Right. So Spider-Man's like he's a bit of a special case.
Exactly.
A little unusual for
Exactly.
someone to get their abilities that way.
And I don't recall what Ultimate Daredevil's bag is, but I do know that, like, he's kind of a jerk, but also that S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't breaking down Matt Murdock's door.
Well, here's the thing: he just has super heightened senses.
Yeah, but
because he's blind.
Yeah, but no.
Could have happened to anybody.
No, he got like stuff on him, and he has like super senses. It's not just the additional augmentation of his senses that one could have if you're blind, but not automatically get when you become blind.
I thought it had to do with a lot of training. Like I thought it was mostly
it's
just
also
like
that.
some stuff splashed on him.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it altered his genes.
No,
Well, yeah, because like no matter how trained a blind person is, they can't like literally
jump
use
off a
sonar.
rooftop and swing.
Yeah. It's like a little bit better, but it's not that
Their
much
hearing just gets more acute.
Yeah.
It doesn't get better.
Yeah. It's not like you can tell like how far away something is.
Right,
by,
like Daredevil hits his baton against a metal thing and it creates a three-dimensional world that he can now navigate.
Yeah.
That is not anything. That is
What if
superpower.
What if it's raining and like, I can see your face for the first
Yeah.
time?
Then
And then
it's
I
a
can see you
makeout time. Because that movie is brilliant and amazing. Anyway, in the Triskelion, Fury's got this like practically the Sinister Six, and they're all in kind of like a group therapy session that is being facilitated by Hank Pym, which is ironic because Hank Pym savagely beat his wife in this universe. But he's also Giant Man, and he's also a scientist. And as Janet points out later, he does not have a psychology degree, but he is trying to get to understand these characters so that he can then understand like where their powers come from, how they work, and how they can exploit them and whatnot. So basically,
you guys realize that you all have powers and you all hate Spider-Man?
right? You should form a team. So they're all basically talking to Pym, and Pym is kind of just asking them questions. And Doc Ock is one of the newer residents in this group.
Yeah.
And he has this whole monologue, and he has a number of them, in which he talks about his arms, how he can feel them, and how he misses them, and how like he wishes that they were still there, and how it's unnatural and weird that he should want them because they're not natural.
Not actually part of him.
Yeah,
But now
but-
that he got used to them, he's like, but I try and do things with them
Yeah.
and I can't?
Yeah, exactly.
They're not like his children, are they?
No.
Okay.
Nor are they like
Individual minds.
that all speak to him.
Oh God.
No. Although he does mention some kind of inhibition, device that should have worked or something like that. He's like, I don't understand why they did what they did when I got an explosion that grafted them to my body, but here they are.
Right.
And you removed them, and I still feel them. So
that was
maybe
a
it's
piece of me missing.
yeah, exactly. So
Took from me.
yeah. Well, he's not. No. He's more like lamenting. He's like, I'm just, you asked me how I'm feeling. This is how I'm feeling.
You're not gonna some part of them imprint it onto me?
No.
No, I don't think they did. Then we cut to Craven, who is appearing on TV. He is doing an interview where basically he has issued a new challenge for Spider-Man. He's like, I am going to hunt down and kill Spider-Man again. And they're like,
That would
okay.
be murder.
You're like, you can't say
You have
that
just
on
admitted.
television.
You've just
I
admitted to
can
wanting to
be-
murder someone.
Yes, but that guy is not technically a person. He's an illegal, unnatural genetic mutation.
Oh.
And also, he is a criminal and a murderer. So really, no one's arguing with me. So my challenge still stands. And the interviewer keeps like
That's
mentioning
still murder, though.
yeah, well, whatever. So the interview keeps mentioning like, the time that Spider-Man kicked his ass and made him look like an asshole, and he's just like, yeah, and he has these great stock answers for them, and so then he leaves the interview with his agent, and his agent's talking about how, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna get we've got the stunt guy, we've been working with him for months, we're gonna put him in a Spider-Man costume, you're gonna kick his ass, you
Oh
can
my
beat him
God.
you can beat him 8 ways till Sunday, and he will totally like thank you and call it ice cream. It's gonna be fine. And then the Avengers are there, and they're like,
The
yes,
Ultimates.
the Ultimates, I should say. Sorry, excuse me. I saw Captain America, Thor, and Black Widow together, and for some reason I thought they were the Avengers. So they're standing outside, and they're like, yeah. So we have reason to believe that you may have altered your genetic structure, Mr. Kravenov. And he's like, and he just runs away, and he hauls ass like unnaturally fast. The agent gives Cap a hard time. Cap's like, yeah.
You just crippled my guy.
Yeah, and he's like, your guy went through some kind of genetic manipulation and violated the law. And he's like, you can't prove that. And he's like, well, we're about to. So then Craven is hauled off to the Triskelion, where he reveals that he has been altered. Now he can become like a kind of animal man.
Okay. So now he's like a
This is-
threat.
Yes.
Isn't this a situation though where like they could literally accuse anyone
Yeah.
of
Oh, yeah.
becoming an illegal
Yep.
genetic alternate
Mutation.
mutation, whatever,
Yeah.
ever, and then like we haul them away, we inject them with something. Oh, they did it.
They
Yes.
could do that,
Yes.
but because we go home with them and they're our heroes, they don't do those things.
Yeah. I mean, today the police could arrest you and then like fabricate
Yeah.
evidence against you just as easily as they could do
Found
it
some
here.
coke on you.
Yeah. So
Yes,
like we
that
already
never
live in that world where
that
that
never
could
happens.
happen.
No, so
You just gotta have to trust that usually that wouldn't happen.
right. In this universe, it's a little nicer.
Well, so here's a question: is there like a court
No.
that like examines the evidence that this person is a mutant and determines that yes, indeed, you can arrest them because
No,
you have proven that they
Ethan,
are?
courts are for people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
if-
you keep
I
asking
still
these
think he's a
questions,
person.
But he's not, though.
But I'm telling you, he's not.
I'm telling you, he isn't.
And
legally,
we have
he is
evidence
not.
here that shows that he's not. So
Yeah.
we don't have to worry about
well,
it.
can I
Right.
examine that evidence?
Absolutely not.
He's not entitled to have his evidence presented in open court.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm taking crazy
There
pills.
is.
I'm sorry,
There is
I'm
straight
sorry.
up no court.
I keep saying he's not entitled to that. I mean, it's not entitled
It's not
to that.
entitled. I'm sorry. It's force of habit.
Yeah.
It's look at the likeness. It's perfect. These beings, they trick you like that.
No, it's just, they use it as an excuse to arrest people that need arresting, but don't deal with like high-powered lawyers.
Captain America, were you born with your powers?
Yeah.
I was born before your grandfather was born.
That doesn't really answer my question. Were you born with your powers, though?
Were you?
I don't have powers. I have a microphone.
I think you do. You're under arrest. Like,
Checkmate.
checkmate.
Yeah, so there else I was like, wait a minute.
Oh no.
Cap is an illegal mutation.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that's the thing is that he was, according to everybody else, the first, and that's what they're all trying to get. Like all the other companies are trying to recreate the super soldier serum. It's in fact,
The basis for like almost all superheroes.
it's the basis for the Oz formula that created the Goblin and Spider-Man. It's the basis for how the Incredible Hulk became the Hulk in the Ultimate Universe and in the movies.
Yep.
Interesting. So does he get a pass because he was made into a mutant thing before they passed the law?
Cap
that you
gets a
can't?
pass because
No.
he's Captain America.
It's because he's Captain America. That's the only reason.
Yeah. Okay.
If Captain America went rogue, they'd be like, arrest him.
Exactly.
He's
no,
a
there
mutation.
is a. I'm sure there's a clause within the law that says
Right.
unless you fought Nazis, in which case then you are also exempt from that law. There's a great moment where Norman Osborn's talking to Hank Pym, and of course, like it's rare that you get to see like Marvel characters interact with Spider-Man's lunatic asshole villains. But you know, Osborn is like talking to Hank Pym about how he's like, you know, why don't you ask me the questions that you really want to ask me? And Pym's like, I am asking you those questions. And he's like, well, we're wearing all these power-inhibiting collars, but you believe that the Oz that was in my system was what caused me to become a giant goblin monster, yet I'm still wearing the collars, and you claim that the Oz is no longer in my system, so why the precaution? You know, maybe you want to unlock the secrets of the Oz formula. I simply, you know, will not be able to provide that for you unless you give me some concessions. And Pym's like, we have the Oz formula. And Osborn's like, what?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, no, you're not technically a human being, which means you don't own your company, which means we acquired it. Like, we own your company. We own everything in it. We went to your house. We took everything of yours, including the Oz formula.
Including your family.
All of it. Yeah, we took his son. Because, you know, Harry was involved in experimentation as well. So, like, Harry Osborn is somewhere in S.H.I.E.L.D. custody.
He's like 5 cells down. He never gets to see his dad. His dad never gets to see him. It's hilarious.
Yes, practically. We don't really know where they're keeping Harry, but Harry does come up. In fact, Osborn keeps like offering things, but in exchange for his boy, you know, send me my boy, and I will give you whatever you want. And they're like, no. So when Hank reveals that like Osborn has nothing, Osborn immediately transforms into a goblin monster.
Yeah.
And Hank Pym grows into Giant Man. Now, he was not prepared to have to turn into Giant Man, so he rips out of all of his clothes, and so
Yeah.
there's a giant naked man just kind of pounding on a goblin guy. But he's like, okay, well, now we know that these collars need to be like reinforced.
Yeah.
Osborn turns into a goblin, and Octavius goes, I want a deal. I'm out. I thought it was fun. I had my kicks. I had metal arms.
Yeah.
But this guy turns into a giant goblin monster, and I want out.
Right. What do I gotta
not
do?
want
I want a deal. And so they're like, okay, well, we'll get back to you. And so Pym goes to Fury. Fury and Pym go to the Ultimates, and they're like, Octavius wants to deal. What do you think? And they're like, I don't know who that is. Because I love the disparity between Spider-Man and the Avengers in any reality. Spider-Man knows these lunatic assholes, and he's dealt with them a million times. The Avengers are like, yeah, we deal with like Korvac and major
People who would
planet
destroy the
destroying
world.
threats.
Yeah.
I have no time for like an evil industrialist that turns himself into a goblin.
Wait, Octavius. Who? He's got metal arms.
Well, in fact,
You just
Janet
described 3 people in it.
Janet Van Dyne knows who Octavius is because Octavius used to be a brilliant scientist. And she's reading something absently and they're talking about him and she's like, actually, he was kind of like a hero of mine. I wrote a paper based on his research.
Oh, wow.
And he never backhanded me.
Right. Like, she makes that kind of joke at Hank's expense, but in any case, they kind of sign off on it, so Octavius is now part of the plan.
Interesting.
So they give him access to a lab, and so they're like, Pym and a bunch of scientists like take Octavius to his lab, and they're like, talking about what they're going to do next, and what their plans are, and Octavius is like, listen, I'm just happy to be working again. That's all I wanted. All that's ever mattered in my life has been the work. So they show him his arms, which of course are detached from him.
Right.
And they're like, look, maybe you could explain how these work, because this is going to actually be revolutionary. Like, think about the practical applications of having 4 metal arms, or any metal arms that can respond to your thoughts, for people who have lost limbs, or people who need to work with nuclear waste, or any number of factors.
Yeah.
And so Octavius is going on this whole monologue where he's like, I don't really know how they work, but I've postulated some theories about how it could work. Like, maybe I was always meant to have them. Like, maybe I have something in myself, all these different people get some kind of messed up thing happen to them, and they have electricity powers, they have spider powers. Maybe there's something in me that when the explosion in conjunction with the Oz formula happened,
I get metal arm powers.
Well, it unlocked something where if you gave me metal arms, I could control them. Something as arbitrary as that, because why would anyone have any type of powers? Why would you shoot lasers out of your head and then not be able to blast your brain out the back? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Eyes, yeah.
But that's my so that's one theory. I'm not really sure, and it pushes in on him as he gets more intense, and then it pulls back, and it turns out that he's been controlling the arms the entire time, and he killed everyone with them.
Jeez.
What?
Yeah, he just lied. He's just I want out. Which includes
Because
Hank
he
Pym.
knew he could control the arms.
He killed Hank Pym?
Well, he buried an arm into Hank Pym, and you think he's dead, but actually he's not. He's the only one who doesn't die. Maybe because his body's more dense than everybody else's, because he changed his physiology at the last second or something. They don't explain why he's suddenly not dead, but in any case, he's very badly hurt, and he's not in the book anymore.
Right.
They explain later that he's hurt, but not dead.
Okay.
But you think he kills Hank Pym, and really they probably should have killed him. In any case.
Well, I kept my body the same size, but I shrank all my internal organs down.
Exactly.
So he missed him, yeah.
Unfortunately, all
Jesus.
detached from my central nervous system,
Yeah.
so I'm dead.
It took a real long time to heal.
Yeah. So I love that sequence. It's so awesome.
That's messed up.
And that,
Yeah.
this is the kind of stuff that I wanted in a Spider-Man in the MCU movie. And it's why this is for me the perfect template for that, where it's you see, when you deal with Spider-Man villains, these people, when you deal with Batman villains, you're dealing with people who are lunatics who don't care about the greater good or about anyone else. That's why Spider-Man wears a mask, because all my villains are psychos who would kill anyone to get at me, or just kill anyone anyway because it's fun. And so as a result,
they've been changed as people. It's not I'm not doing it for money or power.
or maybe they are,
I'm
but they don't
doing
care, or maybe they do it for money or power, or maybe they do it just because it
doing
feels
it because
good.
I can.
Yeah, like Carnage.
I'm better than
Yeah.
all of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and
But
they're
then-
they're unafraid.
Yes.
They're I'll just commit these violent crimes in broad daylight.
In a
'cause what are you
colorful
gonna- Yeah,
costume.
because what are you gonna? It's oh my god, this person has no fear,
Right.
No regard for human
Especially
life.
compared to any of the villains that were in the Avengers movies. If they're dealing with Baron Strucker or Baron Zemo or any other barons that happen to fight the Avengers. But the point is, characters that either hide in shadow or work in organizations or regular people.
Right.
Crossbones.
I like this version of Dr. Octavius because think about this. Just imagine the scenario where you get arrested
Yeah.
and we cut off your legs. And we just put them in a room over there.
Right.
They're fine. They're still there. But you're missing your legs.
Right.
How badly are you going to want to just get back to your legs so you can be whole again?
Yeah, that's exactly what he does.
Yeah,
He's
that's
just,
cool.
I made a deal so I could get near my arms.
Yeah.
Because the fact is, he can feel them.
Right.
And I love it because later on he's gonna feel them again.
It's fucking creepy, but it's great.
I love it. So, anyway, Octavius goes back to cell block Sinister and visits all of his, cellmates, and he's like, what up? You know, turns off the power.
Yeah.
You know, the guys like come out, they're like, okay, all right. So they blast off their collars. The only one who doesn't is Sandman, who's like, I like being a person for the time being. When I'm a sand person, I can't always keep it together. It's a lot of work to like keep myself whole. So like, I'm gonna wear the collar for now, but when you need me to be Sandman, I will. But anyway, you know, Norman Goblin's out, and they're all just like ready to go. And I love it because Osborn and Octavius are not friends, and Octavius kind of screwed over Osborn earlier in this book and in this series. And Osborn's like, for this, Octavius, we're square. And Octavius is like, yeah,
We better be.
we were before you agreed to it. And so they're like, what are we doing? Like, what do we do next? And Osborn's like, okay, here's the deal. And he's like,
How about we form an
horrible
awesome team?
Yeah, basically he's like, here's the deal. I am immeasurably wealthy. We have a lot of things on our
Wait, not, they
captors.
took all your stuff.
Yeah, but I'm gonna get it.
No.
Like,
I'm still immeasurably wealthy. I just have to get it back.
yes, and that's Osborn. Osborn is like half delusional, half Machiavellian genius.
Okay.
And so he's like, no, I've got people in my pocket. I also have horrible goblin powers. I think I'm God. You know, like I have a lot of things going for me.
Right.
And so
I
here's
don't know
the
if
deal.
I'm a god or the god. I just think I'm a god.
I think I'm a god. The goblin god.
the god.
The Goblin God who creates fireballs out of his hand.
Yeah, make it out of nothing.
Yeah.
So
I'm Hadouken Man.
So here's the deal, like join up with me or go. I'm not going to kill you or go after you, but if you want, you join up with me.
I'll help you out.
I'll help you out. And they're
All
like,
I'm saying is it's better off.
yeah, so they're all like, all right. And he goes, what's next step? And he goes, I'm going to get my boy. And Octavius is like, how do you know where Harry's being kept? And he goes, Harry? And my boy's name is Peter. And then they blow open a hole in the building and then leave.
What?
Oh. You're going to get your boy.
Is he implying that he is actually Peter's father?
He's
No.
implying that he's Peter's father, yes, but not in the way you're thinking.
Oh, okay.
But
No, I'm Spider-Man's father.
yes, that
Yeah, I
Osborn's
see.
like, I created the Oz formula. You got the Oz formula through one of my spiders. You are interesting and have value because of me. Everything that makes
Right.
you valuable and interesting,
So you are mine.
you are my boy.
And I'm going to
made
extract
you.
that from you.
No, he doesn't want
No.
to take anything from him. He just wants to have him,
Get him.
control him.
Yeah.
It's like
Bring
you're
him under
my
his
son.
wing.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
will. Like, but you're my boy.
Yeah.
So
Join me, and together we can
rule the galaxy and whatnot. At least Queens. So Fury loses, I think, like 38 agents in this jailbreak.
Jeez.
I love it because, like, yeah, right? I mean, like, I think the Punisher's killed, like, 10,000 people. The Joker's probably killed 1 million people by this point. But, like, in this story, Fury loses 38 people, and it bothers him for the entire story.
Wow.
Where he's like, I have lost more men in one day than I have since I became a colonel.
Right.
The Ultimates and Fury have like a meeting where they're just like, so who are these people? Why is it a problem? What's going on?
What's a Spider-Man?
Yeah, they have all these like satellites in place that look for illegal and natural genetic mutations. That's how they find them all the time. But they need to use their powers in order to be found. And Osborn knows this, so he's like, okay, like once they escaped, they all like stopped using their powers, just kind of like took a bus or something to where they need to go. And so they're like, we can't track them right now. And Captain America's been really suspicious of Fury the entire time. He's like, we can't track any living person on the planet using satellites, Fury. Are you sure?
You also didn't put in like any kind of bug.
Right,
or
like I
subdermal
feel like you
implant.
definitely have some of those. And he's like, we don't. Like Fury reveals, or at least admits, that they don't have the ability to track any person anywhere because that would be fucked up.
We're not like all powerful. I
Yes.
know I give off that impression.
And I know that I'm also completely willing to violate human rights, like, but at the same time, I have my limits.
In this case, I didn't.
Here's the thing.
for some reason.
I'm holding off on this information until you go rogue, and then I will reveal.
Yeah, I need you to
that
know this. Like I need a
subdermal
hole in my head.
implants.
So then, about halfway through the book, you realize this is a Spider-Man comic, and so we
Right.
cut to
Hey,
English
where the hell's
class.
Spider-Man?
Yeah, in English class, Peter's English teacher is yelling at all of them because she's like, "I gave you a job where you were supposed to write a poem, and more than 2/3 of you wrote down lyrics to a rap song.
Oh.
More of you than not had lyrics to the same rap song."
Did he do it too?
He got an F, so presumably.
Wow.
I don't like that. I don't think that's really consistent, but whatever. I mean, like, I do
weird.
appreciate that Peter doesn't regard English class Because, like, of course he doesn't. He's a science kid. Like, he doesn't care.
Right.
That being said, like, as an English teacher, I find it offensive.
I don't think he's a cheater, though.
I don't think he's a cheater, though.
No, not a cheater, but maybe he was just like a poem. Well, music is poetry, just with lyrics to it.
You're not supposed to create your own. Not write down your favorite Robert Frost poem. Oh, is that what you meant? I'm sorry. I'll whip up one right now. Because it's stupid and who cares about poems.
Create my own poem? That's fucking easy.
Yeah.
Here. There, beautiful prose.
Iambic pentameter, you're welcome. So anyway, S.H.I.E.L.D. sends a person to go collect Peter because Fury's talking to the Ultimates, and the Ultimates are like, so, like, what's going on? Like, what? And
Who
then
are these fucking people?
yeah, and Fury's like trying to come up with Osborn's next move, and he's like, oh, they're gonna go after Peter. I gotta go collect Peter. So Fury introduces like everyone at S.H.I.E.L.D. to Spider-Man, who's out of his costume. He's like, ladies and gentlemen, this is Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man. Yeah, don't worry about it. Peter, stop freaking out. These guys all know who you were anyway. Anyway,
They work for me.
so
I already
here's
told
the
them a
deal.
long time ago.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Yeah. All your greatest nemeses are working together, and they probably want to kill you, but they're mostly mad at me right now. So that's your saving grace.
Right.
And so Peter's
And don't worry,
freaking
we
out.
have the Ultimates.
Yeah, and don't worry, Thor's here, and he's a complete idiot. So lucky you. But Peter's like, oh my God, like Mary Jane's in trouble, Aunt May's in trouble. He's like, stop. I got agents all over this place, and what we're trying to do is we're hoping to get this wrapped up in the next like hour and a half, 2 hours. So like really
Before traffic.
yeah, exactly. I got a big commute coming up, but I really, honestly, I would like to try to have this wrapped up before dinner. Ideally speaking, I would like to have it so that no one but like you and I know that this even happened. So let's not get your aunt and your girlfriend involved at all. Let's not bring it up. So meanwhile, the president of the United States chief of staff gets a phone call from Norman Osborn, who's like, hi. So then the chief of staff goes to the president and basically gives him a bunch of information. So then we cut to this house in the Hamptons where the Ultimate Six are hiding out. And they're all just having a good time, hanging out.
Hey, and there's sand everywhere.
I know, it's perfect. That does not come into play for some reason, but in any case, Octavius is getting plugged in. He's getting his internet set up and everything. Electro asks, like, whose house this is, and Osborn's like, it's Wilson Fisk's.
Ha! Nice.
And I love
That's why the doors are 3 times as wide.
Yeah, exactly. One of them makes a comment like, "Oh my God, look at all the junk food in the refrigerator." Jesus. But they're like, he's away and public enemy #1 in America, so like he's not gonna bother with this house right now. We don't have to worry about it. So then the president calls Fury and has him sit down, and he's basically just like, "So, famed industrialist Norman Osborn, with whom I have played golf, called my chief of staff on the phone today. And do you want to guess what he had to say to me? He said that you personally arrested him without trial and held him in a secret government facility along with a number of other human beings. And basically you've committed a bunch of human rights violations under my nose in my town." Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that it's a dirty mutate, and there are no human rights violations being committed.
Yeah, he doesn't say that. He basically says, like, what Osborn said to my chief of staff, what he would like is he wants his company back, he wants his son, apparently, and he would like amnesty for him and his friends, and you under arrest. And Fury goes, or what? And the president says, or what? What are you talking about? He goes, or what? What will he do?
Yeah, that's a threat.
Yeah. And he goes, oh, you'll like this. He says that one of his members is a former TV reality star, and that apparently they have a camera crew there, and they're going to film all of it as it's happening and reveal all of your greatest secrets on national television. That's what he says he's going to do. Or what? Mr. Fury.
I did not expect him to have an or what. Well,
I love how cogent the president is. Like this president is like on top of everything. Like,
Yeah.
He knows about these shadow
this
organizations.
is West Wing.
You know, I don't need to articulate to you how often my office has to bend over backwards to assist and facilitate you and your colorful characters and all the fucked up shit you guys work on. And then,
I like how upset this president is. This
Yeah.
president is not happy about superheroes.
No, but
he
he's
probably doesn't like Captain America.
Nah.
Look, I get that you work for us. That's fantastic.
right, but you're also a
But
freak.
we're not chums.
No.
Yeah. Well, you cause a lot of problems for me. You and your menagerie.
Yeah.
Kind of colorful characters.
Yeah, one of whom was an alcoholic who's like literally driving behind the wheel of an automobile at all times. Oh, except it's not a car; it's a flight suit that shoots lasers. Cool. But yeah, he's like, so I don't really want to even get into the fact that a handful of my cabinet, including my chief of staff, were stockholders at Oscorp. You see where I'm going with this. You see how it looks for me, and you see how messed up my administration is going to be as a result of it. And all because you did all this shit, and you didn't even tell me about it. I don't even know about what you did to Osborn, and Osborn's going to put me over a barrel because of it.
Mr. President, were you always born with your superpowers?
What?
Arrest him!
Please ask you a question there, Mr. President. How much time would you say you spend on TPS reports? But he says, yeah, I am, you're going to handle this. You're going to go. You're going to get your action figures together, and you're going to deal with this problem, and you're going to deal with it by tonight. It's going to be over. My office is not going to be dictated by lunatics and assholes in colorful costumes. Bar none. And then Fury goes, did he happen to say where he was calling from? And he's like, get out of my office! So then Fury leaves the office. He gets a call on his cell. He goes, this is Fury. And Osborn goes, am I a priority for you now?
Nah.
So then Osborn's like, okay, so here's the deal, guys. I got plans. At the end of the day, I'm going to get that amnesty. I'm going to get that absolution for all of you guys. I'm going to write you a check that's going to change your lives. It's if you help me. If you don't, you can go. There's the door. You're fine. I won't begrudge you. I won't attack you. I won't seek revenge. I'm just saying, I just need people who are loyal and willing to work for me. If you're down, let's go. If not, don't worry about it, because here's the thing. Nick Fury is the reason why we're here. Nick Fury is the scapegoat. They're going to blame it all on him. We're going to pin it all on him. And they need us to not talk. So they will give me what I asked for.
Yeah, you say that you'll just let me go, but I do know where you are now.
Right.
So I kind of feel like you wouldn't just let me go.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't really come up, but Fury does dispatch the Ultimates on Kraven's former reality TV show company.
Okay.
Which, of course, was a bluff. There is no reality TV show thing.
Right.
The Ultimates just attacked this production company for no reason.
Yep.
And Fury's just like, no one leaves, everyone's detained, everyone gets questioned. So Peter puts on a Spider-Man costume, but he leaves the mask off because, it's one of the few times he gets to do that. And also because I guess the artist doesn't want to draw Spider-Man. Right. So,
he's just walking around inside. He doesn't really need it.
Exactly.
Look, we saw Spider-Man earlier.
Right.
From a flashback.
Yeah, in a flashback drawn by somebody else.
Well, plus it gets all humid in there when I have it on. I just, if I'm not actively hiding my identity from the public.
Why would I wear it?
Well, also he's got to call Aunt May. Aunt May's going to know if I'm talking through a mask.
Yeah, we're all a little bit muffled.
Yeah, she's going to think I'm Spider-Man because that's what Spider-Man sounds like. Spider-Man sounds like me wearing a mask. So,
and Peter never wears a mask. Oh my God, Halloween.
So then Peter calls Aunt May and he just says he wants to say I love you.
Oh. Aunt
May has a wine class at 10 o'clock.
A wine class?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
She's becoming a sommelier, Ethan.
Oh.
Older people like to go to they paint and drink. Or they, try different
yes.
wines. They just call it a wine class.
I didn't know they called it that, but okay.
I'm sure they don't. So
I went to one of those ones. It was cool.
Oh yeah.
I went to a wine class.
I painted a horrible thing.
It was in a bathtub with
me
me and a box of wine.
I learned a lot about myself. So
it was me, a bathtub, a box of wine, and a toaster. It was great.
Didn't quite work out the way I planned,
because I'm still here.
All right, still here. But and then the lights turn off, and then Electro shows up, and he just blasts the shit out of everything.
And he plays the Itsy Bitsy Spider by bouncing off shit.
Can't wait for more movies like that. So basically,
the golden age of Spider-Man.
Yeah. So the Ultimate Six or the Ultimate Five.
Oh. Who are they? We got.
It's Kraven, Electro, Goblin, Octavius, and Sandman.
Okay, right.
They talk about Osborn keeps talking about how there's going to be 6.
Yeah.
But there's only 5, and then they go, and the plan is they're going to break into S.H.I.E.L.D. and take Peter, and Peter makes 6 for Osborn's team.
Oh, right,
What?
his boy.
Yes,
yeah, he's going to join the team.
Which is a twist and a surprise that I also thought would have been awesome in an MCU Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Where it's Peter is a casualty of the story. That Osborn is just like, no, I'm going to keep you close, and like, basically,
I'm catching you up in like all my nefarious schemes, and if you don't agree with it,
I'm gonna kill your aunt.
ruin your family.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like your life will be over because I'll kill everyone you care
and that's
about.
the plan.
Yeah, and it starts out like, oh, we're gonna rob this bank. So he's like, I guess I could do that. Like, it's not as long as no one's getting. Maybe I can keep anyone from getting hurt. And then it's like, then I need you to like do this. It's just like gets worse and worse, and he has to do like shadier and shadier
It actually
shit.
would
Yeah.
be fantastic. It's
That'd
like,
be
look,
cool.
we're gonna rob a bank, and things start getting out of hand, and Peter has to like keep people alive.
Yeah.
So he's robbing the
juggling.
bank and fighting the Sinister Six, but
Yeah.
also robbing the bank.
Right. Yeah. Well, he's protecting the people from Osborn's collateral damage. Yeah. It writes itself. Thankfully, it was already written. So the Ultimate Five attack. They grab Peter. They electrocute him, so he like knocks himself out.
Wow. Okay.
Wait, they just attack?
Yeah. The shield is crippled.
well,
There's
yeah,
no-
because of the virus.
because of the virus.
there's that
the
virus.
big virus.
Yeah.
No one's gonna be able to log on or get
Oh,
guns.
All we are is a building. We don't have staff or security.
Well,
Well,
do a
they depend
Sandman
on
who-
the the security net, the cameras and the alarms and all that. And it's
Yeah.
all disabled.
And as you can see, it's chaos in there. I mean,
Yeah.
the Sandman creates like a typhoon in there, and friggin'
Yeah.
Electro is blasting things. You could literally take over S.H.I.E.L.D. with just Electro.
Yeah. It would
So-
be formidable even if all the security systems weren't disabled. It'd still be a serious threat.
Right.
So with them disabled, yeah.
Down the road, Osborn will attack S.H.I.E.L.D. just by himself, and it's a complete clusterfuck. So S.H.I.E.L.D. goes and they put Aunt May in protective custody. They're like, okay, well, we've lost control of the situation. They took Peter, we gotta go.
Yeah.
So they take Aunt
I
May.
like that they grab Aunt May and it's Hawkeye and Black Widow.
Yeah.
Well, because they're the most fucking normal ones,
Yes,
I guess.
exactly.
Let's not freak her out.
Yeah. Because they explain to Peter what the cover story will be if in the event they have to take Aunt May into protective custody. And the cover story is, like, you do know, like, nobody knows that Osborn turned himself into a goblin monster.
Right.
But they do know that Osborn was an asshole who got arrested. So they're going to explain to Aunt May that Osborn is an asshole crazy person who escaped from jail, and we believe your nephew and you may be a target.
Because he knew
Peter.
Peter.
Exactly.
I like the idea of Osborn escaped from prison and we have to take you into protective custody because your nephew is Spider-Man.
Right. No, Fury even makes a point of saying, we're going to do what we can to preserve your identity.
Right.
Unless you want to just man up and tell your aunt who you are.
No, I don't.
And he's like, I don't. And they're like, okay, then. Well, then we're going to go with plan
Then
A.
we're going to lie to her.
Okay. Now,
see how
the
that
U.S.
goes.
government will go ahead and lie to your loving aunt who raised you for you.
And you can continue to lie to your aunt as well, Peter.
Okay.
Yeah. And then when she inevitably figures it out, you can explain to her why we had to lie to her.
Hey, my uncle died. I know guilt. You ain't doing shit to
Yeah,
me with
I don't
this
feel
right
bad. Aunt May will make me feel way worse than you. That being said, thank you very much.
You're welcome, asshole.
Yeah. All right. So Peter's unmasked and at the mercy of the Sinister Five, or
Yeah.
whatever, the Ultimate Six.
Yeah.
And this is the first time that most of them have seen Peter without his mask, which throws Kraven into a friggin' rage because he's like,
A boy.
a 15-year-old boy ruined my career.
Ah.
I was gonna hunt you. You're just a little boy. I should have just gone to like the mall. So Kraven just attacks him, and Osborn pulls Kraven off of him, and he's
Yeah.
like, knock it off. That's the
my
last time.
boy.
That's the last time.
Oh, everybody gets what?
Osborn basically explains to Peter what the new reality is going to be, which is you work for me. I don't kill your aunt. I'll destroy your entire world. You're my son. Like, you're my real son. Like, when I became my true self, I gave birth to you, and so as a result, like, you owe me. Like, everything that makes you special is mine. So you owe me. And so let's go. Like, let's fall in line. Let's do this.
No.
And if you don't listen to me, like, I will kill your aunt, because I know you care about that kind of thing.
Right.
But otherwise, like,
Wow.
just so rational and cogent, but also like so completely fakakta insane.
Yeah.
So
This is how you are my boy, and this is what I do with my
that's
children.
exactly the approach. I love it. Yeah, this is how I treat my children.
This is like bad parenting 101.
Yeah, this
where
is
it's like,
why Harry's such a screwed up individual.
Yeah, like, no, look, I made you.
Right.
You owe me everything.
Can you imagine your dad being like, no, my genetics, like, material came out of me and produced you. Like, I basically, like, I made you in wood shop.
I
own
own
me.
you.
I own you.
Ah.
Everything that is you is mine. Like, you're my intellectual property.
You're my
Well, except for
IP.
half of you. Half of you belong to your
Yeah,
mother.
well, we don't talk about that.
Well, I acquired her half in a hostile takeover. So anyway, Aunt May gives everyone in S.H.I.E.L.D. the riot act, where she's like, I want to see my boy, and I want to see him in the next 2 seconds. And they're like, please, Mr. Parker. And she's like, no, Mr. Parker, me. And they're all like, oh my God, this lady is driving me crazy.
I love that she's giving them a headache. I also am amazed that no one has just tranked her yet. Just like a quick dart in the back.
There's no like Clay Quartermain's like,
Let me take her down, please. Just let me.
yeah. But I love it because like Fury's just like trying to keep it all together, and he's freaking out. He's just like, it's okay. Okay, so I brought in Spider-Man, and then they broke into the S.H.I.E.L.D. and they killed another 38 people, and they took Spider-Man. But I can put this together. It's okay. And Cap is just looking at him like, what is your problem? And Fury's like, what's your problem, Captain America? And he's like,
Yeah, why haven't you fucking fixed the problem,
he's
Captain
like-
America?
It's like, this is really your fault.
Yeah.
All of this is you.
Yeah.
Like, you did this. They're mad at you because of what you did. You engineered this whole problem. You hire these companies to do these things for you. Like, I feel like most of the shit wouldn't have happened if you weren't such a jackass trying to make me. And he's like, shut up.
Shut up, Captain America.
What are you talking about? I really am a captain, and I am from America. Who else?
Whatever, Cap. Oh yeah, I guess you're in charge now. You're the big man.
That's what he says in the movie. Hey, Winter Soldier, looks like you're giving the orders now, Cap. Yeah, that's right, I am.
Yeah.
I'm going to take down your super secret organization from the inside and then I guess just put it all on the internet? What kind of plan is that? And what's the fallout to that? And I'm not watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to find out. I don't care about that. By the way, I have watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to find out, and there is no answer to that. They don't help you. They certainly don't tell you that Grant Ward is actually in Hydra. The president of the United States is like, you know, sweating bullets, and like the National Guard is on the lawn, and the chief of staff is just chatting it up with Norman Osborn, because Osborn's like, hey, what's going on, man? And he's like,
Hey, Fury hasn't been arrested yet.
yeah.
Hey,
Also,
how's that amnesty thing going?
yeah. Oh, also, I won $100 million. That's another thing that it
And every like hour that goes by, it goes up by another
$100
$100 million.
Yeah.
Well, you got your company back.
Yeah.
500 million.
Right, but you owe me because you took my company. 500. See?
See?
See how this works? I'm going to contribute to the national debt single-handedly.
Oh,
did
come
you
on,
ever
that's not
see,
fair. It just
Breakfast
became
Club?
like $1 billion.
Oh, $1 billion.
I can go all day.
On the principal for the Breakfast Club.
So the chief of staff's talking to him, and he's like, so where's my money? Where's my money? Where's my money, man? Where's my money? And the chief of
Get
staff
real
is
tired
like,
of you ducking me.
Dude, he's like, dude, like, listen, the White House doesn't have like $100 million like behind a picture of Lincoln. Like, you can't just like ask for that. And he's like, well, that's really too bad. But I really had a feeling you weren't going to give me the money anyway. And he goes, listen, like, Norman, tell you what, why don't you like power down, come down here, we'll have a conversation, we'll work it out. He goes, hey, that's a really good idea. Maybe I will drop by. And the lights turn off in the White House. Electro blasts everything, kills all of the soldiers on the front lawn.
Wow.
And then the Ultimate Six arrive. The entire squadron of Spider-Man villains and Peter Parker Spider-Man.
Wow.
With his mask off, just be like, hi.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Did he not get it before they took him?
No.
Like you didn't grab it?
Nope.
Wow. All right.
So he's just, so this is why it's like, oh, so everyone knows who he is, right?
Right?
Nope.
No, there
because
were no cameras.
There was no, and everyone's dead anyway.
Yeah, they killed everyone before he showed up.
Yeah.
At the freaking White House.
At the
Yeah.
White House. So the like Norman Osborn and like all of Spider-Man's like who gives a shit villains just took over the White House.
Yeah.
Or at least they thought they did until the helicarrier parks right over it and the Ultimates show up.
Oh.
And this is the thing where I was like, okay, so the last page reveal of this issue is great because like off camera you see like Osborn, and then the full page is just Captain America in your face saying you're trespassing. Because, you know, you're not really an American because you're actually a monster. But, like, no, for real.
Well,
no,
you don't own this house. I mean, you literally do own it, like a little bit of it, but
Right.
because you are a citizen, except you're not because you're a monster. It's a little bit complicated.
I
But
But
like,
still, you're not allowed to be here.
I
Yeah.
love the you're trespassing line. I kind of wish he'd said, get off my lawn.
Oh, because he's old.
It works on many levels. So, and this is where it's like, okay, so here's my pitch for an MCU Spider-Man Sinister Six movie, because it's like, that's clearly what we were building towards
Yeah.
until everything fell apart. Thanks a lot, Disney. And so what I'm thinking is, the idea would be that like Spider-Man has been trying to deal with the Ultimate Six or with the Sinister Six the entire time. And it's just like this constant issue. But then at the end, like, the Avengers show up, you know, and mop the floor with them. Just like, so like, you know, Peter kind of like, all hope seems lost, and it's like, no, like, your friends will show up at the 0 hour and help you.
Yeah.
Like, just this kind of, because that's what happens. The Ultimates just like,
Yeah, they just show up.
just show up and beat the shit out of them.
Yeah, of course they do, because he attacked the White House. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
well, that's going to get the Ultimates' attention. If you were
Absolutely.
trying to, like, not let them know where you were, you just failed.
But I
But it
love,
wasn't just that. Like, they were always planning to do this, because once Cap took over, he's just like, we're just going to meet them force for force, right?
yeah, exactly. So they do. And there's this great sequence where
We're
you
not
see,
keeping this a secret anymore, Nick.
right. So Peter just watches all this happen, and so like they're kicking the crap out of it. Like it's a pretty fair fight.
Yeah.
It's big monsters and electric people and stuff.
Yeah.
And so Peter like goes up to Cap and he's gonna fight him, and Cap's like, "What are you doing, kid?" And he's like, "I gotta fight you, or they're gonna kill my aunt." He goes, "We have your aunt. Your aunt's at the Triskelion. She's taken care of." And he's like, I don't believe you."
Right, yeah.
And so like they're grappling, and there's this. I love this image of like Spider-Man and Captain America like just like pushing each other.
Yeah.
Because they're both very strong.
And they're both digging into the ground. Like it's the unstoppable force, immovable object. Like they both have these ideologies that also like they're so rigid as people and as like idealists. But like it's not a battle of wits. They're just literally grappling. But he says like you have my aunt. And he goes, we took her into custody the second they kidnapped you. And he's like, are you sure? You promise? And Cap's like, kid. So
I'm
then
Captain America.
yeah, exactly.
I'm fucking George Washington. I cannot tell a lie.
Exactly. So now Pete's like, oh. So then he just goes to Norman Osborn and just beats the shit out of him.
Yay.
And Osborn's like, Peter, what are you
What
doing?
are you doing? I'll kill your aunt.
So he's fighting Osborn, he's kicking the crap out of him, and then Octavius grabs him and throws him into the Oval Office. Peter lands in the Oval Office. He's like, huh, far out. So Wasp's fighting Octavius, and she's like, you're such a smart guy, I don't understand it. What's wrong with you? Zap, zap, zap. Like, you could have cured cancer, you jerk. Like, what's wrong? And he goes, don't lecture me, backhand. And you're like, oh, no! And Hank Shuttlesworth goes, that's my job. But no, so she's like, oh, backhand me, will you? So she just shrinks down and then dives down his throat and does something, and he's no longer conscious. God only knows.
I hope she like grabs his heart and just crushes the ventricles on it.
Right? Like, he doesn't die, but she does, like, horribly, disgustingly defeat him.
Where does she come out?
She comes out his mouth again.
Okay.
Like,
Out his butt.
yeah, she totally Ant-Mans him. She goes up his ass and then grows to full size and just blasts him apart like a goddamn sock puppet. I don't know. I love it because, like, Iron Man has, like, sequences and files in his armor that are like set to genetic markers. So it's like when they fight these illegal, unnatural genetic mutations, he can like hit them with a ray that like renders them inert. So he's like, okay, like give me the, he's talking to like whoever at Shield. He's like, okay, give me the Osborn file, and like it's like taking too long to upload. So he's like, and then they switch fighters. So now he's like dealing with Sandman, and Sandman's like bashing him down. He's like, and they're like, okay, we're standing by. He's like, give me the Sandman file, and they give it to him. And he's like, and Sandman dissipates. Just completely explodes into sand. And so Osborn is like getting bigger and more Hulk-like. He's just losing it.
Yeah.
And he's just trashing everything. He runs into Captain America and he's like, oh man, like you're the reason I'm this. Like, thanks a lot, Cap. and that's when Fury unveils Harry Osborn. Like he basically takes Harry out of storage and puts him on the lawn and goes like, here's your son. Tell him to knock it off. So there's Harry standing on the White House lawn. He's facing his father down. He's like, Dad, you got to stop. Like, stop this. The Osborns are facing off against each other, and like Norman doesn't really know what to do.
Right.
And Harry's just like, Dad, like, stop. Look at this. Look at what's happening. Like, you've ruined everything.
And then he melts.
Yeah, he melts.
And Fury's like, all of you have loved ones. All of them can be taken away.
All can be returned. So
Harry, no! Oh God, no! I love you.
So leave the White House alone. Leave Fury alone. So Iron Man's like off to the side, and he's like, "Okay, give me the Osborn file. Like, give it to me right now." Like, okay,
Okay.
So Norman starts to depower, and then Iron Man just shoots him in the back.
Yep.
Because Iron Man's a true hero, and Osborn tries to like reform, and he becomes this like horrible like monster,
Even
and they
grosser.
just keep shooting him, and he's just like ultimately, he's being shot by Iron Man, and then the National Guard gets involved. They're like opening fire with like AK-47s, just blowing him away. Cap's hitting him with shields. Everything's just coming apart.
I see a couple arrows in him at the end.
Oh yeah, I wonder who did that. And ultimately, Norman Osborn is defeated. And Nick
like
Fury,
from his life, right?
No, he doesn't die.
He's real strong as a goblin.
Also, like the Osborn, The Oz formula is basically an immortality formula.
Oh.
Like, basically, no matter how many times you defeat/kill Norman Osborn, he will come back.
Okay.
And that's kind of like what also feeds into his god complex. Is like, I can't die.
Right.
I mean, in a way, isn't that a better super soldier serum?
Right?
Yeah.
Well, except it
Well,
also
that
turns
makes
you into a mindless, insane goblin monster.
Yeah.
Because the insanity is also in
it's like a side effect.
Yeah.
I would admit, like, that probably makes you a better super soldier.
I'm not dropping those goblin monsters in anywhere. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Okay. Go take over that building. No.
Like what?
Rip apart.
No, I'm not there telling them that. I just drop them in another country.
How are you going to collect them?
Why would I collect them?
Well, they're going to keep
Then
going.
what's the point of this war? You just want to sow chaos? That's
What
not
are you, a
it's-
lunatic? What are you, in Hydra?
No, I just wanted them to destroy that country. And
Well, he's
then-
going to keep destroying things.
What if they go
Fine,
destroy
then
a
we'll-
different
then we'll
country
capture
instead?
them, put them in a cage,
I
we'll
like that
throw them in the sun.
you're coming up with this plan right now? That you're like, okay, fine.
What if they decide to join the other side? Like,
They're insane.
They can't join the other side. They're crazy. They'll just keep killing things.
But no, but they are capable of speech and rational thought.
yeah, he's forming a plan. He's making a team.
You kidding me?
He's just an asshole.
Forget it. No, the Oz plan does not work.
Yeah.
Get out of here. So, like, anyway, Nick Fury, like, pats Harry on the back and goes, like, wasn't part of the plan. Sorry, kiddo.
What? Like, shooting it wasn't part of the plan?
Wasn't part of the, like,
What was
Killing
the plan?
your dad in front of you wasn't part
What
of the
was
plan.
the plan?
more, I don't know. Well, you know what? That was the plan. All right, you got me. You called me out.
Yeah, all right.
Thor and Electro fight in the sky. There's, like, some tension as to, like, who's coming down, but it's Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean
And-
Thor?
Yeah, it's Thor and Electro.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna shoot electricity at you. You mean this thing my hammer conjures?
Yeah,
and
that
makes all the time?
surrounds my body all the time, and it clearly doesn't affect me.
Oh no! But at the same time, like, well, I can't fire lightning at you, but I can still hit you with an axe.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So-
giant hammer.
Yeah.
And I'm super strong.
So Spider-Man goes to Harry and he's like, I'm so sorry. Like, you didn't deserve any of this. And Harry's like, I'll kill all of you. And then they take him away.
Wow.
So that sets up the status quo for Harry.
Yeah, that's
Also, Harry
perfect.
now knows that Peter's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then basically everyone gets arrested and goes back to jail, and all of the accomplices of Osborn are like, I think Osborn has, like, mind control powers.
No.
And the chief of staff gives, like, issues a thing about, like, how Norman Osborn's a jerk.
Yeah.
And it wasn't anybody's fault. And don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. So they have Octavius, and they've taken his arms, and so he's just sitting there. And they tell him that they destroyed his arms, but
They did.
we know.
I'm
they
sorry. At that point, you have the
You melt
scientist. You destroy the arms.
didn't. Yes.
Yeah, you
He
make-
can always make more.
Yeah, you examine how they're made, and then you destroy them, and you make new ones that aren't connected
No.
to his mind.
Yeah.
No, you
Yes.
don't make new ones. This is a bad
No,
plan.
no. It's still Shield. They're
Yeah,
gonna make
come on,
some.
we're gonna
arms.
make arms.
Yeah.
So I love it because Octavius is like, you moved my arms. And they're like, no, we destroyed them. And he's like, well, then why can I feel them? And they're like, all right, creepo, see you later.
Yeah.
And then they leave the office.
destroy those arms,
And
please.
they go, where are the arms? And they're like, they're about 30 miles from here. And he goes, you better move them. He goes, oh yeah. So
That's funny.
yeah.
Yeah, move them into a volcano.
Yeah.
So then I think Quartermain goes and picks up Peter and brings him back to Skillian, and he's like, okay, so here's the story. We had you in protective custody, like in the next room over from your aunt, and so that's what you're gonna tell your aunt. And he's like, has my aunt been here the whole time? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, how mad
He
is
is going
she?
to be pissed.
And they're like, oh, I don't understand. He's like, like a scale of 1 to 10. Like, how mad is my aunt? And she's like, I am going to sue everyone in this building. And then they give her Peter, and she's like, she just hugs him, and he's like, I've been here for like hours. What's going on? She's like, let's just get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
So then Peter and Aunt May go home. Osborn is put under sedation and sent away. Cap's like, kill them. Like, what are you doing? Like, get rid of these things.
Yeah.
And
What are you keeping him around for?
right, he goes, sorry, Cap, we got to get everything out of his DNA first. And Cap's like, right, because the next war will be a genetic war, right? And Nick Fury's like, that's right. And he goes, you know what's funny? I found, from my experience as Captain America, that like most wars were engineered by people who were trying to prevent wars. That like basically people will wars into existence. And I feel like you keep saying that until it's true.
Mm-hmm.
So like, F you. And Fury's like, I feel bad enough, thanks.
No.
The story ends.
What are you not gonna work for me anymore?
Right.
What is this?
Well, do you want to start paying rent on that nice brownstone you got there, Steve, or what?
You're gonna keep hitting me in New York at this time, at these rates?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
You
That's a
couldn't afford them at
predicament.
30s rates.
Hail
so.
Shield.
Hail Shield. So Ultimate 6 is this like mostly Avengers story that also
Yeah.
features Spider-Man.
Ultimate
but
story.
It's,
But barely.
right. But it's great because I love it because it's basically just like, this is the kind of insane bullshit that Peter Parker has to deal with on a regular basis. Like, you assholes have to deal with, like, Quicksilver and Magneto and Doctor Doom and stuff, but, like, Peter has the real lunatics. and this kid does, and somebody makes a point of saying that, where, like, the Ultimate's like, so what do we do? We're doing with crazy scientists or something like that? Like, you know, blah, blah, blah. And one of them is like, Peter Parker deals with these guys on a regular basis. Like, the reason that all of them are here right now is because of a teenager in Queens with no weapons. So, little respect.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right on. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Ultimate 6 is really, I love it, and it's a great template. It's a great blueprint
Yeah.
for what you could do. But if, like, let's say, like, a major motion picture corporation got its head right out of its ass
Yeah.
and, like, just paid the frickin' money.
I will say, I love the fact that Peter can handle these guys one-on-one.
Right, but then you
There
put them
is
all together.
absolutely no way he can do it
Yes,
if they team up.
that's absolutely right. Anyway, Ultimate 6 is great. Check the description below so you can get a copy of it because it's great and you can pick it up and really don't need much context for it. Like, you can probably grab it all by itself.
Yeah.
But it's all part of the ongoing story that is Peter Parker from the Ultimate Universe, so I highly recommend you do. What volume is this anyways? Is this 8?
Volume 9.
Volume 9. So we've done quite a few episodes of this, and we're
Yeah.
going to continue. The next volume is really fun. So, but this is a great self-contained thing. Like, this is a more like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't have to worry about like trying to pad this with another volume. Like,
Right.
it's just all this.
What up?
So disappointed that Janet gets backhanded again. And I think it's by an octopus arm.
Yeah, it
Well,
is.
don't worry, because she's gonna be eaten by the fucking blob in
Exactly.
a later story.
Yeah, so she gets her just desserts. Thanks for reminding me.
That's all I can think about when I hear the Ultimates.
Yeah.
That's
Of course.
Janet gets eaten by a fucking blob.
By the blob.
Yes,
blob.
written by the same guy who wrote the worst Ultimates stories and then ruined the Ultimate Universe. Although I will say, in Ultimatum, which is
Ultimatum,
one of the worst Marvel events of all time, Spider-Man's tie-ins are phenomenal.
Well, there you go.
Just phenomenal. And we'll see you guys next time in another episode as we get to episode 300 of Back Issues. Thanks a lot for watching. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Ben.
So long.
On episode 300, is it just going to be like a couple of us facing like all of the Persian army?
It most certainly is not.
Well-
People really want us to do 300. And I'm like, we all saw the movie.
No, we're good.
So we've all
We
read the
saw
comic.
the movie.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
The comic is the storyboard for the movie.
When is episode 300? Like, how close are we?
It's the next one.
Oh, it's the next one. Okay.
Are
I
we
was
going
like,
to...
are we on the march to episode 300, or are we like right on the
That's
cusp
how I was
of it?
treating it.
Yeah.
When in the last episode we shot, I did that. And that
Ah.
was episode 298.
Okay.
I'm like, damn it.
Damn.
It's not really on
Should've
March.
thought of that, yeah.
I should have thought of that 4 episodes ago.
It's kind of like we stumble into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, whoa.
Oh, we're here.
Well, shit. On to 400.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
It'd been a great opportunity for like a fake
Event kind
like
of thing.
newsreel.
Yeah, on the march. I was going to say,
There's
like,
our
we
intrepid
could-
boys marching to episode 300.
Yeah.
Oh, and what's on their way? Oh, look at this. Well, they're going to do a Spider-Man book.
Oh, they did Secret Empire next. What else is happening? What are they going to do for 300? Is it going to be New Frontier? Is it going to be Ben sneezing? Who knows?
It's Ben sneezing.
Ben's just going to sneeze for an hour and a half.